Just trolling on the MLS today, looking at what's for sale. Looks like we've got a beautiful purpose-built triplex here, I think it is. Yeah, triplex. So an all-brick triplex building, very well maintained, two bedrooms, one 3-bedroom unit. From a cash flow perspective, it's probably not going to be a cash cow just because of that purchase price of $680 versus kind of what I'm predicting in rent. And if you sign up, for the love of God, do not just ghost me. This is not Tinder. Do not ghost me, guys. What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and this is part 2 of me being set up on deal destruction, and we're just going to kind of check out the Trenton, Quinte West, and Belleville real estate market, looking at small multifamilies. I actually really enjoyed part 1 of this video series where we were checking out a bunch of deals in Trenton. We're going to continue the Trenton trend for now, and in fact, I'm actually really curious about Trenton. I need to probably study a little bit more on the macro and microeconomic factors. I know that the Canadian Air Force is a major employer there. I had a buddy that I think like worked there for a year or two on some of the hangars and the HVAC work there. So anyways, I don't know a lot about this area, but I definitely like the sort of numbers I'm seeing so far. So let's just jump into it. We're essentially just trolling on the MLS today, looking at what's for sale. Looks like we've got a beautiful purpose-built triplex here, I think it is. Yeah, triplex. So an all-brick triplex building, very well maintained, two bedrooms, one 3-bedroom unit, 10 long-term occupants. Owner lives upstairs in one of the 2-bedroom units. Hey, that's not bad. That means we can at least get one of our units vacant. All pay own heat, hydro, and water and sewer. Property also features double 20 by 30 garage. I like that because we can probably rent that out separately. And coin-operated laundry in the basement. Most windows replaced. So we're looking at about $680 for this purpose-built triplex with a separate garage. Going to guess it's got lots of parking. Nice little balconies on the side. Tenants look like they really keep care of it. They also look like they're very settled. If you've built yourself a glass bar in an apartment you're renting, you're settled. You're not planning on moving anytime soon, in my opinion. But it does look beautiful. I wonder if this is maybe the owner's unit. But love seeing someone house hacking. So, all right, we got our laundry room. Got a nice little thing. Got the garage there. That is nice. I like that. Definitely get some cash flow from that. So, I think looking at this property again, too bad they didn't give us any rents. That would really help me dig a little bit deeper into this property. But if I'm quickly summarizing my thoughts here, purpose-built, two-bedroom units. I like that. A 3-bedroom unit as well is great. For gross rents, I'm not familiar with Trenton, but if I had to guess, I'm going to guess those 2 bedrooms are safe 1,200s. And the 3 bedrooms, probably a safe 1,500, I'm going to guess. The parking looks nice. Seems like it'd be a low maintenance building and sort of property. Probably pretty good quality tenants. Now, I don't know the neighborhoods in Trenton, so I have no idea if this is a good part of town, bad part of town, but it looks like we're not too far away from downtown or the air base. No idea if people like living close to the air base or not. That's definitely something I'd want to get dialed in on as an investor in this region. But yeah, if we're looking at 12, 15, that's going to put us at what, 3,900 a month in gross rents. That garage, I'm going to guess we can at least get a couple hundred, maybe even upwards of 400. I know here in London for a garage like that, it wouldn't be uncommon to be able to charge $400 for, especially because it seems like it'd have electrical and stuff. Now, if this garage had a bathroom in it, you could probably charge a lot more for it, but I'm going to guess it doesn't because it didn't make mention of it in the listing description. But yeah, it seems solid to me. From a cash flow perspective, it's probably not going to be a cash cow just because of that purchase price of $680 versus kind of what I'm predicting in rent. I guess we could do a quick little breakdown here. If I'm thinking 1,200 1,200, 1,500. Again, this is assuming I can get what I'm assuming is fair market rents here in Trenton. I probably want to be able to negotiate maybe one more unit, or ideally the entire building vacant. That would make it a lot more enticing for me at that purchase price. And let's put in $300 for that garage. So we're going to be looking at, I think, $4,200 a month right now in gross rents. So that's my gross rents. Now, obviously, I don't know the expenses on this property. If I remember correctly, though, from the listing, I believe they did say that all tenants are paying their own heat, hydro, water, and sewer. So my assumption is my expenses aren't going to be that significant. Normally, I would assume an expense ratio of about 50%, but because they're literally paying for their water, heat, and hydro, I might go a little bit lower. I'm going to go with like an assumption of a 0.4 for my expenses. Now, does that include property management, repairs, and maintenance and vacancy? I'm going to say yes in this case, that likely does include it, though it's not going to include a huge sum. So if I was trying to break out these expenses separately, what that would look like is I'm going to assume about 10% for lawn maintenance and property management. Now, I don't know what property taxes are, but for a property like that, I'm going to guess maybe somewhere in the $300 to $400 a month range. So that's going to be my taxes. I'm going to have to pay insurance. That's probably $100, maybe $150 a month. Let's up that a little bit. Insurance. Then beyond that, things like bad debt and vacancy, I do like taking those into consideration. In this case, I'd assume that's going to be about 5%. And then with repairs and maintenance, I'm likely going to come in again at 5%, in part because purpose-built building looks to be well-maintained, everything like that. So if we're looking at this detailed breakdown, I'm kind of getting to $1,400 a month. So again, this is just ballpark numbers here. There may be other small expenses I'm overlooking. Maybe there's, water heater rentals. Maybe there's, taxes could be certainly higher depending upon the exact details behind the property. But this is kind of the broad strokes of what I expect. So probably somewhere in the $1,400 to $1,700 a month in expenses. So then what that means is our cash flow before looking at debt servicing, we're essentially going to be looking at $2,500 a month. So cash flow before debt. So if we were looking at buying it for that $680,000 that they're asking for it, if I use what I call the 100-500 rule, which means for every $100,000 I borrow, it assumes at a 3.5% interest rate on a 25-year amortization that my payments are going to be roughly $500 a month. So if we're looking at doing a 20% down payment on this triplex, that means I'm going to be 80% loan to value. So this is my 80% loan to value mortgage. And now I'm looking at having to finance essentially $544,000. So if we were to assume the $544,000 here as my mortgage base, and I'm assuming the $500 payment gets me for each $100,000 borrowed, well, simply I'm going to take my $544,000 divided by 100, times that by 500, and that's going to give me my expected mortgage payment. Now, realistically, in this current environment and interest rate, you're probably going to be able to get a lower interest rate than a 3.5% mortgage. So if we were to come back here and let's just tweak this, or we'll go to a mortgage calculator Canada, or better yet, let's go to cashflowtribe.com and I could just use our calculator there. Although I'm not signed in, but I think we can still use our calculator. It just won't save any of it. So if I just wanted to really quickly use my mortgage calculator, let's jump into this mortgage calculator. Okay, my purchase price is $680,000. My down payment here, I can put in the dollar amount. So what were we looking at there? 680 subtract 544 gives me my down payment of 136,000. So 136,000. We're going to ignore any CMHC costs because it's going to be an uninsured mortgage. Let's assume that I'm getting a 3% interest rate. Amortization period's 25 years. My term, we'll just put in 5 years here. That's not particularly important. And just for nice round dates, let's go and pretend that we're going to close on January 1st, 2021. So what are we looking at? All right. Well, it's got some estimated property taxes and home insurance here, but that's not particularly relevant. What I'm actually interested in is knowing what my mortgage is going to look like. So finally, I got to choose my payment frequency. We're just going to go with a traditional monthly mortgage payment. And we can see that my payment comes out to $2,574 at a 3% interest rate. Now, if we were to look at what actual interest rates are likely currently here for a 5-year term, we'll just go to 5-year term fixed Canadian mortgage rates. What are we going to see here? Let's check out Rate Hub. So, we can see 1.54, 1.6, 1.84. They've got some nice historical data here for us as well. But definitely we're seeing a huge drop in the interest rates most people are paying, right? So we've got our 5 fixed rate versus 5-year bond yields here. No, this didn't give me quite as much information as I thought. But anyways, you can see that we're likely going to be in the 2% or even potentially lower range. So if I was to go back and change this actually to 2%, just kind of show you guys the impact here in regards to our payments, now we're down to $2,300 a month. So again, if I was looking at this number, I would say that I'm probably going to be break even-ish from a cash flow perspective. But again, I do have reserves for bad debt, repairs and maintenance, and property management. So at least I've got all my bases covered as the operator here. Now, again, a lot of these numbers are assumed, but I hope it serves as an illustration for you guys at home that just because I don't have all the data doesn't mean that I need to be stopped or paralyzed by analysis paralysis. In fact, I can just sit down, look at the numbers, make some assumptions, and at least dial in the range on the spectrum of where I am. Now, could I be off by 50% on some of these numbers? Yeah, not impossible, but probably not. Could I be off by 20%? Yeah, there's a much higher probability I'm going to be off by 20%, but I would say I feel relatively confident that I'm probably right within a 20% margin of error range in regards to these basic numbers. So could gross rents be higher by 20% or lower by 20%? Yeah, possibly. Could the expenses be higher or lower by 20%? Yeah, possibly. And again, as we discussed, my mortgage here is inherently conservative, but that's how I like to run my numbers. At the end of the day, as a real estate investor, it's completely up to you to decide how you want to run your numbers. But when we're looking at this property, I mean, it doesn't seem like a terrible opportunity. It really just depends upon your exact goals as an investor, right? What's your why? What SMART goals have you built around that why? And then moving forward beyond that, then we pick the strategy in the market that we should be investing in. Let's check out one last property here. So this one, I've actually spoken to the listing agent here, Matt Cook. Seems like a great guy. Because it caught my attention. I was like, this seems pretty affordable. Now, this property is a little bit weird because the owners converted it into more of a boarding or lodging house rather than a purpose-built apartment building, even though it was a purpose-built apartment building in the first place. So what it sounds like is they converted a bunch of their 2-bedroom apartments over to 3-bedroom rooming houses where essentially you just shared the kitchen and the bathroom, and they turned the living room into a 3rd bedroom, if I understood correctly. So there's some interesting opportunities here with properties like this. Because it's not in my backyard, I'm not going to be chasing a property like this. But if I was in the Belleville, Trenton area as an investor, this would definitely be the sort of property I'd be looking at it as maybe breaking into for my first apartment building. It's got some weird issues. It's got some quirkiness, but that allows me to really have some upside as well as the investor on the property. And it seems like overall, a lot of the mechanicals, a lot of the skeleton of the building doesn't seem that bad. So, yeah. Again, the key is that we just need to be constantly searching for opportunities. If you're not analyzing deals, and I understand analyzing deals can be a fast process, right? Me analyzing these Trenton properties, I don't know. It took us, 10, 15 minutes to look at a couple properties and to do a deep dive on the numbers behind one of the properties. And yet, how hard would it be for you to analyze a couple deals a day? It really doesn't have to be that difficult as long as we get dialed in on some of the basic assumptions behind our markets. So once you get the lay of the land, once you understand your local market, you should be able to analyze a property quickly, back of the envelope numbers within 5 to 10 minutes maximum. And if you're not sharing it with a YouTube audience, you can probably even do it a lot faster than that. So this all came about because I was stood up on one of my deal destruction episodes. One, I'd really prefer it if you guys didn't stand me up on these episodes. But two, is this worthwhile when I get stood up, us still shooting these videos? Let me know in that comment section. Reminder, we're shooting deal destructions just once a month now. So if you sign up, you need to sign up for that batch shooting date. And if you sign up, for the love of God, do not just ghost me. This is not Tinder. Do not ghost me, guys. And reminder, when you do ghost me, I do see your email address you used to book the meeting. So I can quickly just blacklist you from any future deal destructions. But I'm not that spiteful yet. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and I'll see you next Wednesday with the next deal destruction.
What are you saying? Not the time or the place, baby, it's not right.